Hi guys, my name is Megan and today I'm going to share with you 5 books to read if you are dreaming of homesteading or regenerative farming or just homemaking. I think these will be really great books for you to read. So a little background on me. I live in eastern North Carolina right now in the middle of a neighborhood. As cars are honking, I live in the middle of a neighborhood. So I am not on a farm. I'm not on a traditional homestead, if you will. I am just in the middle of town. We have a garden here, and we're trying to do as much as we can here with our HOA rules and all that. But there's a lot that we can do in the house and out here in the garden. My husband is active duty Marine, and so we're kind of stuck here for the next few months. But we actually have some land in Missouri, and we've closed on that land. It's 21 acres, and in the springtime we will be moving there and we'll be starting the infrastructure and all that for a regenerative farm. The farm is going to be called Sweet Beulah Farm, and so I'm starting this YouTube channel to kind of document the process of building a farm from scratch, building a home, all the things that are going to go along with that. So that's just a little bit about us. So we right now are dreaming of our homestead. We're trying to be content with where we're at now, and plug in and really be here, but also at the same time be prepared for when we get to our land and everything that comes along with that. We have no experience in farming. We have no experience really. So it's going to be pretty hilarious. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of failing. There's going to be a lot of hard times. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of learning in all of it too. And we kind of feel also intimidated because we didn't grow up with this. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who are thinking, why are you doing this? This sounds crazy. You don't know anything about this. But we really feel that the Lord has opened our eyes to this and led us on a path to do this. So we're really excited about it. It's really interesting because the more that we look into this and the more authors or speakers that we keep finding, number one, most of them are all Christians. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. And number two, they all know each other in some way. And it's really neat to see these circles of people who live all over the country being connected with this idea and really kind of, I don't want to say getting back to the land because we are blessed in technology. We're blessed to live in the time and the place that we are now. God has had us here for a reason, and the Lord has really opened our eyes to that and a lot of other things, and we just want to take part in that. So let's start out with the books that I think would be really good for you to read. So these are going to go from kind of like broad philosophy, I guess, on, if you will, philosophy on homemaking, homesteading, just your culture in your home, and then kind of goes down from there into more specifics. And then I also have 3 books for kids that I think would inspire them and keep them excited about farming, homesteading, just living that type of a life. So, okay, the first book I have is The Hidden Art of Homemaking by Edith Schaeffer. This book, I read it about 4 years ago. A friend gave it to me, friend mentor. Her name is Paige, and she has 8 kids, and I had no kids. I had just been married for about a year, and maybe a little less, and I was transitioning from working full-time to being a stay-at-home wife. I was pregnant with our first. We've got 3 kids, and I was really struggling with my purpose, and I felt like all I was doing all day was folding, because it was just the 2 of us, folding 1 load of laundry, and that was basically it. Maybe do the dishes because there was only 2 of us. We weren't making that many dishes. We were pretty tidy for the most part, not much to clean, and I was feeling really purposeless. So she gave me this book, and this book is really great. It really transformed my perception on what it means to be a stay-at-home wife, a homemaker, and it goes through food, it goes through clothing, decorating, flower arrangements, it even goes into writing, poetry, all these things, and how to do it in a more beautiful way that really matters in your home, all while also taking into consideration your faith and how the Lord really delights in beautiful things. So this really changed my perception, like I said, on just being at home and doing things assiduously, and really just being purposeful in all the things that I was doing for myself, for my husband, and for our future babies, and just making habits in the beginning. The second book is like one of my favorite books ever. It is by Joel Salatin. It is called The Marvelous Pigness of Pigs. I love this book. I love Joel Salatin. I think he is so awesome. I actually listened to this book on audio, and then now I have the copy and I'll probably reread it soon. But it is so good. It's respecting and caring for all God's creation, and it kind of goes through how to merge. He talks about environmentalists and how conservative Christians really hate environmentalists and their agenda and all these things. But why can't we as Christians, for the most part, understand and kind of go along with the environmentalists' goals of protecting our earth and stewarding it well? Obviously, the Marvelous Pigness of Pigs, it talks about letting pigs and other animals be the way God created them to be, instead of having these commercial industries of pigs, chickens, whatever we're eating, meat, and these animals are not even seeing the light of day. So he talks about letting, the pigs that have root and wallow and do all these things, and those animals are treated with so much respect in the homestead, in the farming world, if you do it that way, and how much better that is for the animal, and then in turn for us to actually consume that animal as meat. It's just a better product overall. And using also the animals, or whatever, gardening, just regenerative agriculture, and so using all these things to close the loop, and I think that's really great, and it really opened our ideas on how to do it well. But anyway, this book is so good. I just love how it takes into consideration being a Christian and how to steward the earth and animals and plants and just everything in the way that it was created to be, and to use all those things to complement each other. Okay, I had to reset my camera because it wasn't working. And also the lighting is really harsh, but I don't really have a great time to do this. It's nap time. So we'll see how this goes, because the only time I can ever do anything is nap time right now with light, because in the morning it's getting dark later, or I guess the sun is coming up later, and at nighttime after the kids go to bed it's dark already. So I'm a little lost there, but we'll figure it out. So anyway, the next book, I also really love this book. This is The First Time Homesteader by Jessica Sowards, and she's been a really huge inspiration for me in everything that we're doing, because she was also very new to all this. She really had no background, and I have really learned a lot from her and her husband, and a lot of other people too, and authors and speakers and YouTubers who are doing this, who are becoming homesteaders, who are becoming regenerative farmers for the first time. And so clearly, The First Time Homesteader, this is a great book. This book will take you through basically every general idea, concept of homesteading or regenerative farming that you really need to get going. I think it starts with, making a plan for your homestead, looking at the land. It talks about meat, it talks about eggs, it talks about chicken or poultry, it talks about gardening, it talks about, what else? Soil. It talks about permaculture, just general ideas about permaculture, which I am just now learning about, but it's overall, it's like a common sense thing, but it talks about just these general concepts, and inside of it, it gets a little bit more specific, owning dairy, cows, goats, giving you the differences between them all. Talks about bees, talks about herbs, all these different things. And I think it does a really good job of showing you, in general, an idea of each thing you could potentially do, probably not everything you could do on a homestead, but when you're starting out, things that you think are ideal for your family and what you could probably like pick out of there to do. So pretty much from this book, I have an idea of what me and my husband are going to be starting with doing in terms of like 5-10 year plan, and how we're going to start it and how we're going to go from there. So it kind of helps you narrow down what you think you're capable of doing by showing you the steps and just littler details about each, you know, the dairy cow and what you need in terms of land, food, all these things, or whatever else you're going to do. So this is a really great book. Also goes into some gardening things too. She has another book, I haven't read it. It's the First Time Gardener, I think is what it's called. And I think it's just way more in detail about gardening. So anyway, I really love this book. It's also, the pictures are really beautiful and I love that. I'm so inspired by the pictures that I don't know if she took them, I think she took them, but of the animals, of the plants, of everything really. And it's just, I'm trying to find a good picture. I mean, they're all good. I mean, these are the goats. But anyway, it's just really inspiring. And my kids look at this book too and they're like, oh, there's a goat, there's a cow. And it's just exciting for me to see them get excited about these pictures. So I really appreciate all those. So that's The First Time Homesteader by Jessica Sowards. The next book is similar in terms of giving you the general concepts of homesteading and then kind of allowing you to pick and choose. So this is The Rooted Life by Rhodes. I also read this on Audible first, and okay, Joel Salatin and Justin Rhodes, they have really great personalities. So if you want to listen to a book, they are super great to listen to because they're so exciting. They're not monotone throughout the whole thing. They are just super excited about the content and they're also hilarious. So I really appreciate that. So anyway, this is The Rooted Life, Cultivating Health and Wholeness Through Growing Your Own Food. So like I said, similar to The First Time Homesteader, this also has really good pictures as well. Look at these zinnias. So anyway, it goes through gardening, goes through poultry, pastured chickens, egg layers, all the stuff. And so you can really just pick and choose. Not that it's not that easy, obviously, to just pick and choose what you're going to do on your homestead. I know there's going to be a process with it. We're going to fail. We're going to do all these things, but it gives me an idea of what can I do, and giving me the information now, and allows me to kind of say, I think we want that. I think we don't. I think we could do that with our land. I don't think we have enough acreage or whatever. So anyway, he goes into a lot of this too. But he also gives kind of steps, like numbered steps. Number 1, you need to do this. Number 2, you need to do this, for each little thing that you want to accomplish. He kind of goes through the steps more specifically in this book, and I like that. Obviously, we're going to have to know more when we do it, but just looking in here, it's like, oh, well, this is how you know, call a chicken. So anyway. This is a really good book. I really appreciate him writing this, and also his personal story with it too, and how they got into it, because they also were new. And this is what I think. I get drawn to these people who also have like similar stories, who never did this before, and then all of a sudden, I think they're all Christians for the most part. The Lord opened their eyes. Joel Salatin had a different story, but opened their eyes to this and really pulled them and drew them into this lifestyle, that now that they can cultivate the earth and their family well. So anyway, the next one is The Family Garden Plan. This is Melissa K. Norris. This is more specific on how to grow and store and plan for a year's worth of food. She says a year's worth of food with all the charts and stuff. I think that probably depends on your situation, how many people you have, and I don't know. I don't think it's exact, but she does a really good job in here of being really specific on varieties, the pros and cons of each. So let's take into consideration like apple trees. She goes through orchard stuff and goes through varieties, so standard, semi-dwarf, and dwarf, and she goes through that and what would be pros and cons of each thing and what might be best for your family. And so this is really, really good for more specifics and actual plants, varieties, all, oh yeah, pros and cons. She has lists of pros and cons throughout this whole thing. And so I really appreciate that, because we are in zone 8B. We're on the coast of North Carolina. And that is way different of a season than a growing season than Missouri. And I think I'm going to be in like 5B or 6. I honestly don't even know. All I know is that the growing season is 2 months shorter, which is going to be really, really different. And so varieties are really going to matter. And so we're going to have to obviously research, but this book is a good place to start, and I really like that. But she also has in here charts that you can, and worksheets that you can go through in terms of the food that you eat, calculating out how much of each thing that you might need. And I think that's really great. So the Family Garden Plan, Grow a Year's Worth of Sustainable Healthy Food by Melissa K. Norris. So those are my 5 books that I think you should read if you're dreaming of homesteading right now and you're not able to. It just gives you a good idea of what can you do later on if you are able to get land, or even now. Jessica Sowards always says turn your waiting room into a classroom, and I think that's so great because you can get started now with the things that you can do. So you can garden in some ways. You can garden in containers, you can garden in raised beds like we have. Some places you can do chickens. We can't do chickens, unfortunately. Just a lot of different things. You can bake bread, you can do all these skills, you can learn them now. These books are really good for giving you an idea and a sense of what you can do later on, and kind of deciding for yourself, what can we do as a family, what can we do when we get land, if we get land, whatever. And we're drawing up a plan now for 5, 6, 7, 10 months, a year from now, when we get all the infrastructure in, of what are we going to do with animals, with gardening, with all this stuff. And so yeah, I think these books are really great, and they're just really, a lot of them are inspiring with the pictures. And for me, I'm a visual person, and I think that's really great. I also have 3 books for kids that I think are really inspiring just for the pictures, like I just talked about. And my kids get really excited about opening these books up by themselves and just looking at the pictures of the cats, the pigs, the horses, whatever. We probably won't ever have horses, but my kids like that, and they like to see the idea of the homesteading, farming, country world. So anyway, these are the books. James Herriot's Treasury for Children, Warm and Joyful Tales by the author of All Creatures Great and Small. So this is such a cute, there's lots of stories in here. Lots of farm animals, all that stuff, different stories about different animals, and I just think it's super, super cute, and my kids think they love the pictures. They love seeing all the different animals, and also I like the pictures. That's what I like about these books too, is I like the pictures. I think they're really beautiful. And actually this book was my husband's book when he was a kid, and he really liked it. So I think that's cool too. So anyway, this is a good book. I will link all these below on Amazon probably. The next book is Where Are Your Shoes, Mr. Brown? This is also by Justin Rhodes. So The Rooted Life was by him, and this is a kid's book that he wrote about his own kid, his own son, and this is a really cute book. Also, it has kind of a lesson for adults and parents in it, which I really appreciate, about grace for your kids in the moment of hard things. And the illustrations in this book are really cute too. Anyway, my kids really like this book too. It's a recently new book for us, and they want to read it all the time because it's new, but also because there's pictures of chickens and cows and stuff. They call it the Mr. Brown book. Where's the Mr. Brown book? So they really like this book. Again, the pictures are everything for them, and I think that one's really good. The last one is a classic, Peter Rabbit and Other Cherished Stories by Beatrix Potter. We have multiple books of this everywhere. This has like 6 or 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. This has 5 of the stories of Beatrix Potter. Again, it is the illustrations, really. My kids love this because of the garden. We talk about our garden. We actually found rabbits in our garden. They weren't alive, but they talk about them. And anyway, it's just really fun for them to look at the pictures again of the garden. And I think you can inspire your kids with these books, and they can get excited about the garden. At least for my kids, they love to come out here. They love to dig everything up, but they also love to eat everything that's in here. If they don't like something and I say, oh, this is from the garden, they get really excited about it. So I think the books really are helpful in that too. I hope this video was helpful for you to find some books. I know I was on the hunt for any and every book I should read about homesteading, and I really like these. Also, any other Joel Salatin books, he has so many of them. We have a couple others I'm in the process of reading. You Can Farm. I want to read a lot of them, but we also have a course from him that's called Farm Like a Lunatic, and we are working through a video series, ton of video series on a bunch of different stuff. But he's awesome. I just think he's hilarious, and he has so much good information from like decades and decades of farming, and so he's really great. I just want to recommend him probably the most. I mean, everybody knows about him. He's awesome. So anyway, I hope these books are helpful to you. I hope they inspire you, just like they have me, and also any of the picture books for your kids too. Thanks for watching. I am hoping to post more YouTube videos. This is a new thing for us. I have done this in the past, like 2 videos, and I failed and was really self-conscious, and so I'm going to try to be confident here and share with you guys the process of everything that we're learning, everything that we're doing. I think it's fun to just kind of go along with people and see what they're doing for the first time and learning themselves and just kind of watching them do it. And clearly failing is a part of that, but I think also it's really important to fail because you learn from it. I hope you like this video. Thanks for watching.